5 British nationals seeking to retain their EU citizenship after Brexit will have their case heard in the European Court of Justice. The Britons who have settled in the Netherlands initially went to a Dutch court to fight their case. Stephen Huyton is among those seeking to keep his EU identity in the landmark case.
The question is, and that was the question before the judge, is the right that we accrued by the UK joining the EU and the subsequent changes in the Lisbon that were brought about in the Lisbon Treaty, did that create a second status besides your status as being a British or a Dutch or a French national? Did it actually create a European citizenship in its own right?
The case could set a precedent for other Britons who see themselves as European.
This is a very specific case about the rights of British citizens living in our situation in the Netherlands, but of course this has reverberation around the rest of Europe for other British citizens living, and there's nearly 1 million or so living elsewhere in Europe.
The date is yet to be set for the hearing in Luxembourg, where the result will be closely watched.
The German government's new coalition deal has been welcomed by institutions across Europe. German Chancellor Angela Merkel's Conservatives made major concessions to the centre-left Social Democrats to agree after 4 months of uncertainty. It's not only good news for Germany, but good news for Europe as well. Because the fact that there would be a stable, solid, ambitious, pro-European government in Berlin would allow for the decisions and thoughts regarding Europe's future to be tied together. In Brussels, Euronews spoke to Manfred Weber, a German politician for the Christian Social Union in Bavaria and a member of the European Parliament, who explained what the new German coalition can do for the EU.
To strengthen the European Union means to find a solution on the migration challenge. It means also that we have to stabilize our currency on the long run. We have now stability with 2.5% growth rate, but we have to work for a long-standing stability. And a third element, which is crucial, is having Putin in mind, having Erdogan in mind, having the uncertainty in America in mind. We have to strengthen our common foreign and defence policy of the European Union. That are the areas which we have to work on, and there is a clear commitment inside of the coalition agreement to do so.
The new coalition should allow Germany to resume its leading role in international affairs and, at least for now, put an end to questions about how long Merkel will stay in her job. The trial in Belgium of the main surviving suspect of the November 2015 attacks in Paris has resumed without him. Salah Abdeslam is charged with the attempted murder of police in a shootout with officers in Brussels 3 days before he was arrested in March 2016. The trial continues under close surveillance. Exceptional security measures have been put in place at the Brussels courthouse. Civil parties say they are relieved that the trial is going according to plan. Abdeslam refused to answer questions on the first day of the trial on Monday. He told the tribunal he would not allow them to satisfy public opinion. His lawyer Sven Merry told the court that he would continue to represent him. Merry gave no indication of the line he intends to take in defence of the client, whom he's previously criticised for refusing to talk to investigators. Abdeslam's co-defendant, Sofiane Ayari, a 24-year-old Tunisian, is appearing alone in the dock for the second and possibly final day of the trial.
The Winter Olympics may have been dubbed the Peace Games, but North Korea's left little doubt it remains a force to be reckoned with. On the eve of the competition, it staged a massive show of its military strength, an annual event usually held in April. With tensions still high over its nuclear program, US officials are threatening new sanctions.
Our continued hope is by advancing a maximum pressure campaign of additional economic sanctions that we announced yesterday, of additional diplomatic pressure, we'll be able to resolve the issues facing the Korean Peninsula peaceably, but all options are on the table.
It's shaping up to be an extremely delicate diplomatic mission. Mike Pence will be accompanied by the father of Otto Warmbier, the American student who died shortly after being released from jail in North Korea. ties are likely to be further strained by the presence of Kim Yo-jong, the younger sister of the North Korean leader, who's blacklisted under US sanctions.
Emergency workers recover another body from the rubble in Taiwan. The search for survivors from Tuesday night's strong earthquake is being hampered by further aftershocks. A 5.7 magnitude tremor was felt late on Wednesday in the same area, Hualien City, on the country's east coast. At least 7 people have been confirmed dead and 67 are still missing, after a number of buildings were badly damaged. Images from the city show tilted structures, scattered debris and buckled roads. Those caught up in the quake talk of panic and people running for their lives. The quake happened exactly 2 years after a previous tremor in the Taiwanese city of Tainan that killed at least 116 people.
It's ironic, but UK government forecasts show those regions who voted in favour of Brexit are more likely to be worse off. Official government forecasts predicted economic growth over 15 years under different scenarios. The UK remaining part of the single market, doing a trade deal with the EU, or no deal at all. None of the outcomes look good. Take 3 regions: the North East, the West Midlands and Northern Ireland. Of the 3, only Northern Ireland voted to remain. Government analysts compared projected growth against if the UK had voted to remain. If the UK remains part of the single market, growth could be 3% less in the North East, 2.5% less in the North West, and the same in Northern Ireland. If the UK hatches out a trade deal with the EU, the numbers get worse. Growth would be a whopping 11% less in the North East, and down by 8% in the North West and Northern Ireland. The worst results come if there is no deal. Projected growth could be as low as minus 16% in the North East or minus 12% in the North West and Northern Ireland.
I can assure my honourable friend, and I can assure him we will be robust in our arguments.
The government has tried to downplay the figures, stating the numbers are only provisional.
Things being said about positions that are being taken.
Russian cyber experts have managed to hack into US drone technology. The hackers tricked contract workers into handing over their emails, although it's not yet known what's been stolen. A drone expert says the move is the latest step in Russian data invasion.
The hacking is not that surprising. Drone technology is a very desired technology, and Russia has made a big effort to acquire this technology over the past couple of years. And these are multi-role drones that can carry out both surveillance and reconnaissance and even carry out strikes.
Meanwhile, the US Department of Defense says any breach leaves troops on the ground vulnerable.
More than 3,000 soldiers and police officers have launched a security crackdown in Rio de Janeiro's City of God favela in response to spiralling violence. It comes just 2 days before the city's world-famous carnival gets underway. The authorities said dozens have been arrested in a series of raids in areas where drug traffickers armed with automatic rifles ruled the streets. On Tuesday, at least 2 people, including a teenager who was playing football, were killed during a police operation. Last year, Brazil's armed forces were deployed to Rio de Janeiro to help the badly overstretched police. The carnival gets into full swing on Sunday, with the colourful samba parades attracting an estimated 1.5 million tourists.
I televidente, momento para outro espaço comercial, ora non sto back e deporte.